Hey, it's Thursday night, and you're here to get a wine pairing and a football prediction. So let me start with the football prediction. Tonight's game is going to be a really good one, which is a refreshing change of pace because the Thursday night games can kind of be dogs simply because the league mandates that every team has to play on Thursday night. But tonight's a great matchup. It's the Baltimore Ravens, who are 7-3, versus the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 4-5. But both teams have great high-power quarterbacks. So you're going to get to see Lamar Jackson for the Ravens and Joe Burrows for the Bengals. And I've had each of these guys as a quarterback on my fantasy team, and they never disappoint. So I think it's going to be a really good game tonight. However, I'm going to pick the Ravens because they're 7-3, and Joe Burrow has not looked right since the start of the season. I mean, he was out for a little bit with an injury, and he's still trying to get it together. So go ahead and pick the Ravens. Now, it's getting cold where I live, so I'm starting to eat more cold foods. And tonight, I'm going to be having a soup that you may have had before if you've ever eaten at Olive Garden. You can go ahead and put your embarrassing comments about, like, why am I choosing something so ridiculous in below. And the soup that I'm going to be making is actually called the Zuppa Toscana. It is like my favorite soup that they have at Olive Garden. It has kale and potatoes, cream, and Italian sausage. So it's a little bit rich, but also a little bit hefty because it has kale, which is a heavier green, and that Italian sausage. So to find something that could stand up to those kind of richer flavors and to kind of cut through that, I decided to go with an Italian wine. Now, if you remember, we had Italian wine on Monday night. So it's like, hey, let's have a red Italian for tonight. And the Italian wine we're having tonight is a grape called Montepulciano. It's a mouthful. And as if that wasn't enough, it also has kind of a confusing history in that the Montepulciano grape grows a lot in southern and central Italy, right? It's like the second most planted grape in Italy. But the one that we're having tonight is Montepulciano de Abruzzo. And Abruzzo is a city that's kind of east of Rome. And you'll see that most often. And tonight's wine is Masciarelli. It's a 2019 Masciarelli Montepulciano de Abruzzo. And what you'll see when you're having this wine is that it has like a deep, dark color. You know, it is much like all Italian wines. Even a heavy Italian wine is still lighter than like many of the domestic wines that you would get. When you're smelling it on the nose, you're going to get a lot of dry herbs. So think of like thyme, sage. You're also getting dark flowers. So I'm talking violet and, oh gosh, lavender. That's the other one. That's like a purple flower. And then also there's a little bit of a leather scent in the way back. You know, think of not like when you go into a leather store, but think of like your old leather couch. It kind of has a little bit of a smell. So when you give it a sip, it's a little bit tannic. It's like a medium body. So it's not too much. You know, if you're kind of just stepping into red wines, this is a good place to go. You're going to taste that violet. To me, the violet is really right up front, as well as the lavender. Like I'm just kind of getting that floralness right in the front. And then way in the back, I'm getting thyme, which is a savory herb, which is going to go great with the soup. So if you want to see tonight's soup, come back after the game and I'll show you the mise en place. That's all the bowls where everything's there. And then I'll show you the finished soup. All right. I'll see you next time.